Chipping lessons from some of golf's greatest players. All of them major winners.
If I had to say everybody, from the best in the world to the worst in the world, if there was one shot that was not quite as good as the rest of the game, because it doesn't allow it to happen, is chipping. Take the best chipper in the world. If you took over a year, chipping, say, from 10 yards off to the edge of the green, probably the average distance would be that. Well, he's still got to hold that putt. Whereas if you've got long putts, lag putts are 40 foot, you could say the average is going to be that. Big difference. So chipping is so exact because you might pitch into a divot. You might pitch into the grain. You might pitch with the grain. You might pitch across grain. You might just be a little unlucky with the way the ball bounces and has a great effect at being close to the hole. But there's a rule. Keep it low for the dough, hit it high and you're going to cry, or you're going to die. So the thing is that the average weekend golfer, he's right on the edge of the green. I see him using a sand wedge.
Really?
He's got no chance.
Let's see you chip one here, Gary.
I've got a 6-iron here.
You've got a 6-iron.
A 6-iron, and I always try and pitch the ball just on the edge of the green here.
Okay.
So now here I've got a 6-iron. I'm going to try and pitch the ball right here. It's much easier to pitch the ball here than it is to pitch it on a spot over there, unless you practice all day. So, okay, here we got the 6-iron. Watch this. I'm going to pitch it just on the edge of the green here. Now, look at that. There's perfection for you. Look at this. Tell me where it goes. Now, you know that's not trick photography, right? They saw that on a camera.
Any question any viewer can ask me about this shot, I'm going to say to you, just like you putt. Now, if you're a cross-handed putter, you play the shot cross-handed. If you're separated with fingers down, however you grip it, and whatever your stance might be, just like you putt. Now, you're going to see me when I go to putt, and I don't have my glove on. Well, that's the only thing I do different.
Very simply, I think we all have a lot of instincts. And what I would say to this, they say, well, how hard should I hit? I say, well, how hard do you throw it? If I ask somebody to pick this ball and say, underhand it to that hole, they would probably just instinctively do something like that. So that's about how hard you hit it.
Yeah.
So I would say to them, imagine it's just underhanding it. So if they're here and they underhand it, they get a pretty good roll and you get a success. So what can I tell you? It's the way you teach it.
One of the things that I like to teach people is that, you know, you can change the trajectory of your flight of your ball just by moving your grip around. It's kind of fun to do that. Now watch this. I'm going to take my grip right here. This is the normal grip like this. And this is the normal, that's the normal height for this shot. I'm hitting a little bit off the upslope. Now, if I want to go a little bit higher with it, what I'll do, I'll take my normal grip here and I'll take the left thumb and put it straight down the shaft, weakening. That's called a weakened left grip. Bring the right hand over like that. Keep the face open. Now watch the difference in the ball flight.
Yeah.
Ball goes much higher just by changing your grip there. That's something to practice. Another thing, then the opposite of that is put the full Harley on it. The left hand, put that left hand over here like this, right hand underneath like that, but make sure that that ball's in the back of your stance. Now watch. And you can make that same club roll.
I like to smother the ball a little bit, take a little bounce off the club by putting the club back in my stance a little bit and making it a little bit sharper. Not so much finishing the shot as I do actually attacking the ball, hitting down on it. What that does is when the ball lands, it actually releases. Instead of checking, the ball will release and then run almost like a 7-iron. I can make a sand wedge. See, I can chip a ball with a sand wedge and make it react like a 7-iron. But you'll notice that the hands will stay in front of, see it? Now watch, the hands are still in the same position to where I finished. I'm not here now. You notice when you hit a shot, hold the club and see where it's at. And I guarantee you, you'll be here. And I'm still in this position. I can actually, watch this, I can actually hit this ball, hold the position, right? Watch, and come right back down and hit another one. You see that?
And what does that do to the flight or the release of the ball?
It'll release. It won't put as much spin on it. You understand? See, people don't understand. You know what puts spin on the ball? Bounce. Bounce is what puts spin on the ball. When you put a wedge down at 56 degrees and you hit a golf ball, at the same moment that this bounce catches the ground, the ball is on the club face. And the club actually bounces into the ball and makes it spin up those grooves. And that's what puts the spin on it. When you put your hands forward and you take the loft off that club and make it a 9-iron, now you don't have 14 degrees of bounce on here. You only have 7.
Probably the magician of the short game. He hit shots better than anybody else I've ever seen in my life. He hit shots that I had never even thought about seeing in my life. But one of the things that Seve taught me the most, and it's remained to this day, he said, make love to your hands when you put it on the golf club. More so in chipping than anything else. And what I mean by that is you have to caress the grip of the golf club. Do not choke it. Do not white knuckle it. Just caress it. The more you have your hands soft on the grip, the easier it is for you to accelerate through the ball. So Severiano Ballesteros, who's not with us anymore, gave me the greatest tip of all time that's lasted to me to this day is make love to your hands when you put it on the golf club when you go to play a chip shot.
The shot we all try to avoid, it's the shot of last resort. And what I see often when even out in the pros at times, you know, this is what the outcome is. Woo! And off he goes.
Oh, dear. Oh dear!
Good thing we don't have any spectators around. So
absolutely. Now, have you got a better version of that one for us?
I hope so. I wouldn't like to live with that for the rest of my life. So you saw what I did. I never made contact with the ground. I just kind of bladed it, belly bladed it, and as Henry Cotton would say, just try and chop the legs off. So what I'm trying to do is, obviously, I want to hit this high, so I'm going to open the club face as much as I can and use the bounce on my club. And from that point on, the ball's a little bit forward. I'm pretty much right on top of it. I'm going to make a big arc. I don't want to lift this club up and drop it onto the ball because that would make me most likely blade it or hit it fat. So I want to have a big swing, big arc, and come in shallow.
And that is how you hit that high flop shot.
It came down, as Lee Trevino would say, a butterfly with sore feet.
I kind of like the one tip that I got, which really changed how I played around the green. And it was from Arnold. 1962, Arnold and I are playing a practice round at Palm Springs. And I'm chipping every ball off the edge of the green. And I mean, I don't care whether I've got a 5-iron, 6-iron, 9-iron, or what it is. And I'm sitting there hitting these little chip shots, you know, boom, and they're rolling up 3, 4, 5 feet from the hole. And Arnold said, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I'm just chipping." And he says, "Think about something." He said, "Think about that chip. How good was that chip?" I said, "How good was it?" "It was 4 feet from the hole." I said, "That's a pretty good chip." He says, "Well, let's take your putter. What would happen if you were in the same exact place and you use your putter for the same shot? Would 4 feet be acceptable?" He said, "That'd be a pretty bad putt." Well, sort of think about that. Maybe your worst putt will be just as good as your best chip. Now, sure, you might chip the ball closer sometimes, but you're not going to hit the ball very far from the hole with a putter. So he told me, he says, put that chip and iron away. Let's get the putter out. When you're off the green, let's put it off the green. I use that the rest of my life. And I always give clinics now. And I'm walking up and people say, "Well, what would you do from here?" I said, "Well, 11 times out of 10, I'd putt it." And that's what I do.
Now, the one correct way of doing it is a method I call hinge and hold, but every great chipper does it. They refer to it their own way. They break their wrist immediately going back, causing a much steeper angle of attack into the ball when they go through. They break their wrist going back. Now the club is way up here, and my arm has barely moved. From there, I hold it or accelerate going through. Let me demonstrate. I break going back, and I hold it going through.
All right, so you may have hit a errant shot or even a good shot to get to the spot if you're on a short-sided or a bunker. Now, for me, it's all dependent on lie. So right here, I got a tight fairway lie, slightly down grain. I need to hit the ball high. Now for me, when I try and hit these shots, I really try and feel as if the heel of the club is always accelerating and the toe of the club is never shutting down. So it's important, like for me, I like to swing the hosel and try and really feel as if this hosel is really moving through the golf ball at speed. So I try and feel like it gets faster as it gets towards the golf ball. So you're not seeing a shot where it's not like that and rolling over. I try and feel like the heel moves and accelerates to a finish.
So I'd be here. Yeah, I'd be kind of wrapping it that way, swinging out to the right with it.
And you use the toe, less resistance?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the heel as high as I can. That's what Raymond Floyd used to always tell me.
Yeah.
And then get your hand up there like that and stand as close as you can to it. So.
And then just hit little baby hooks.
Yeah, basically. You can try and build that stance here. Right foot.
Yeah.
Left foot. Okay. That feel weird to you?
No, not really. It's a little closer than I normally am.
Yep. But you're also a lot taller too.
Yeah. But when you hook it, it actually runs up that slope.
Yes,
if I
exactly.
don't put hook spin on, it won't get up the hill.
Correct.